Hello, everyone. I'm Emily.
And I'm Hannah.
And we are the hosts of the I Don't Think So podcast. Each episode, we discuss a different theory, story, or mystery and decide if we think it's believable or if we really don't think so.
Here at the I Don't Think So podcast, we are affiliated with Flurry Sports, and we present our theories on your favorite place to listen to podcasts every Wednesday. If you like what you hear, give us a rating or leave us a comment and follow us on our socials at I Don't Think So _EH. Or check us out on YouTube at IDTS Conspiracies.
Woohoo! We're almost at Thanksgiving, and I'm so excited.
I
love it.
Good holiday.
I love a holiday that we literally are just like, you know what this holiday's for? Food.
Let's eat.
Eat,
Mm-hmm.
eat, and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's next week. We'll talk about it more next week. But we're
a little spoiler for you.
You guys are confused. It's on the 28th this year.
Mm-hmm. Late.
A late Thanksgiving.
Here's my one beef with Thanksgiving.
Hit me.
I hate a holiday that is just like not on a number.
Yes.
Like, just tell me it's the 25th every year or something.
Correct.
And if we change the day, it's fine. I hate the whole, like, oh, it's the 4th Thursday in the month of November, on the 11th month at the hour of blah, 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 blah. Like, no, I don't like it. Because now, as an educator, I've been dragging the month of November. I don't want to go 3 weeks and then do that. My only blessing in this whole situation is that we got 3 weeks, week off for the kids. 3 weeks, week off for the kids. Like, that's all we've got going for us at this point.
Like, I'm craving those weeks off.
We're barely hanging on.
Hanging on by the thread that I can have time away from these children.
Mm-hmm. They need a break. I need a break.
I do that every day.
I just want it to be quiet.
You know, I feel like we're slowly morphing into my mom. You're a mom.
I understand why
get it
adults
now.
are cranky.
You know what? I get it.
Mhm.
Understood. So this month we are doing Reddit stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I found one that I originally thought was kind of like a rage bait,
Oh,
but it isn't.
okay.
Because it ends kind of like meh. And you know, like if it's like baby, usually then they end like bigger blow-ups than they started.
Yeah,
So I thought I would start with that one.
okay.
And I just felt like if this I'll just read it.
Okay. Well, here's your feelings when we're done.
So this comes from Best of Treasure Updates.
Okay.
My 28 female boyfriend, 30 male, erased the whiteboard I had my novel timeline on for 3 years.
Oh.
So this was posted back in 2017.
Okay. While ago.
Mm-hmm.
7 years.
The original. Why did you say that? That's when I graduated high school.
Ew.
All right.
Now that we're past that.
Now that we've scarred me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been working on a novel for about a year. I write every day, just even a sentence. 6 months ago, my college switched to smart boards and put all their whiteboards in the garbage. I grabbed 2 because I have a huge wall space open in my living room. Most of my writing is done on my Google Drive, but I have things like character personalities, names, places, a general timeline, etc. You know, stuff I want to remember. I used to take photos of it so I had my ideas with me. I used to write on all my lunch breaks. I stopped doing that because I burned myself out and my writing quality takes a huge dive. Plus, my boyfriend helps me write and it helps us to connect in such a deep way. So I haven't taken a photo in about 3 months. Oof. The whiteboards are nice because I can read my notes across the room while I'm sitting in my favorite chair. I got home last night and all of my stuff was erased. It was all train of thought. Like I'd come home and jot something down. Handwriting is way more cathartic for me. I had sketches of things in the novel. I basically have to go through and remember every single thing on these whiteboards.
Oh, God.
I have a lot of it stored in my head or on my Google Drive, but there are some things I'll never get back. It's the fact he erased it. We do not live together.
Oh, so you had to go into her apartment to erase it?
He went over to her house when she was not there to erase it.
What the heck?
He told me I've been focusing too much on it, and have, quote, no time for him.
Oh,
We hang out at my house 5 to 6 nights a week.
oh my God.
I write while he plays video games. It's a good dynamic, and I thought we enjoyed it. We are always laughing, and he helps me with my wording, and I Google stuff to help him in his game. This is the first time he's mentioned it ever bothering him. If he brought it up, we could have talked about it, but he went nuclear, and I have no idea why.
Ugh.
I don't know what to do. I'm so frustrated. We have had one serious argument over his driving, and he got better. My family took him on vacation a few weeks ago. We watch his nephew all the time. His family paid for my entire spring semester. We are so much a part of each other's lives, and I feel so hurt and heartbroken. He's my muse, and just the other day we went to the jewelry store to look at rings. My feelings rotate between rage, sadness, confusion, sorrow, anger, everything. How do I even approach this? Last night I was so upset I asked him to leave. He hasn't texted, he hasn't called, he hasn't stopped by. I keep typing in questions to ask, but I keep erasing them. But why did you do it? Are you unhappy with our relationship? What did I do? I'm even more heartbroken due to the fact that he hasn't called or texted all day. I'm afraid to call him. I don't want to hear him say he thinks we should break up, or he doesn't want to be with me when I'm writing, or just ignore my call.
Yeah.
That's the end.
Oh, I hate that.
I hate him.
I just don't know what like solution that doesn't bring forth a solution from his issue. Because if he was saying that like we're not spending time together, that's not going to fix the issue because now she's just going to be more devoted to her work to fixing this.
Correct. And again, never has he mentioned to her before that like he felt neglected in the relationship. Instead of saying, "Hey, hon, I feel like we don't spend enough quality time with each other. I feel like writing's taking up a lot of your time, and even when we are together, like I feel like you're sidetracked."
Right.
Instead of saying something like that, he was like, "What I'm gonna do?
I'm just gonna erase this.
I'm gonna wait till she leaves. I'm gonna go into her home and I'm going to erase it because that will make her stop writing."
It just seems like such a like incompetent like thought of like if I just erase it, then she won't want to work on it anymore. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Also, for like a partner to be like, "This thing that you're passionate about, stop being stop."
Well,
doing
and
it."
what's crazy too is like you're so interconnected with each other. You're thinking you're going to get married. You're looking at rings. Your family's paying for her school. Her family paid for you to go on vacation. Like you are so invested in each other's lives, and you didn't think through this enough to think that there's going to be a larger reaction than just like, oh, it's erased. I guess I'll take a break.
Isn't that crazy? Sorry, I just realized my sweater's not backwards.
Live on audio.
I don't know, I flipped my sweater around. I was like, something's sticking in my throat.
Yeah, I don't even know how you move forward with that because it's like part of me is like, do you really want to end your relationship based on that? Probably not.
A 3-year relationship.
But at the same time, like that's a not appropriate boundary to be crossed.
That's where, because I was like, originally I was so upset because I'm thinking about like, I don't like writing, but I'm thinking about like my thesis in grad school.
Yeah, like if someone came in,
If
like
someone came and just launched that
mhm.
away, well, yes, most of it was on Google Drive or in my head. There are things that I had written down in notebooks and whatever,
Right.
that I wouldn't remember.
Correct. Like you can't just throw away that much work of someone. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
This was a year's worth of work. Just erased.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so yeah, I go back to the fact of like, it doesn't sound like these two have huge arguments or like fights, or it seems like there's much problems.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to be like break up with them, but at the same time, I don't think I can get over that.
It's definitely going to take a lot of time, and you have to like be able to have a conversation of like, we need to communicate. Like that is not an option.
And then after all of that, she's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Get away from me." He's like, "Okay," and like doesn't call, doesn't text, doesn't apologize.
Yeah, that to me it seems like there's something else going on.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, ready for the update?
Yes.
a lot of the comments that we saw were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's just, to me, it's just weird. Like, it's so weird to do that to somebody. Like, it's obviously awful and terrible and things, but like, it's just weird. You know what I mean?
And the only thing that Opie really commented in this was someone asked, like, when you saw him, was he like embarrassed? Was he da? She said, quote, he stood there and seemed so, I don't know, proud, happy, and vindicated.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. No. Because I can understand if he, not understand. I could rationalize maybe a little bit of like he did it out of the spur of the moment of like anger or frustration. Now that it's okay,
Right.
but at least like then afterwards he like even if it wasn't coming out of anger, like he just did it thinking like, oh, this will bring us closer. And then afterwards, when he saw her reaction, he like realized how hurt she was.
Mm-hmm.
That would be easier to move forward with, but to be happy or proud,
big thumbs down for you, my man.
that's awful.
Like, how awful of you to like witness your partner
Destroy your work.
Yeah, in such pain that
Mhm.
you caused, and being like, high five to myself. Like,
Look at what
that's
I did.
insane.
That is insane.
Because that reaction alone would be to me like,
You don't care about my feelings.
you don't give a shit about me.
No.
You
Obviously, you don't care about my feelings if you can see how hurt I am and you're proud. Like that's just a different level of like you don't have basic respect.
You don't have or empathy. Free.
Mhm.
Get away from me. All right. So she updates 3 months later.
Okay.
And it said, it's been about 3 months since I made my post. This somehow seems like it got really long. The night I made my post, I went to a friend's house and she ordered a pizza. We got ice cream and a bottle of wine. She's a straight shooter, takes a neutral approach, and gives solid relationship advice, so I felt comfortable talking to her about everything. She couldn't figure out why he'd done it. We went over how
Because it's weird.
because you shouldn't. We went over how he and I hung out, how much he seemed to care about me, how we looked into each other's eyes, but also revealed a lot of hesitation on my part. I'm a positive person and tend to forgive faults or overlook them. I suspected some sort of coping method from my childhood. We had some unresolved issues I think he was holding in, but when I brought them up, he just got kind of salty and go, quote, it's fine, I don't care anymore, end quote. But he'd always bring them up in arguments, and I never realized how toxic it was.
Okay, so there's like more underlying issues.
Right, like whenever he was upset about something, he'd be like, oh, it's fine, I don't care. And then
Mhm.
he'd get in an argument and then he'd
Bring
throw
it
in
up,
her
yeah.
face. That same night, I told him I was coming over the next day to talk about things. I told him I'd be over around 11, and the only thing he texted me was okay, which I did not respond to. I went over to his house at 11, and he was still asleep. He got upset when I woke him up, and it really took the wind out of my sails. On a good day, I'd cry if something upsets me, but I was so angry and heartbroken, I couldn't even think. I left without saying a word to him, and he didn't follow me. On my way out, I went to the kitchen and took my house key from his key ring. I drove home in a daze, collected all his things, put them on a box on my porch, and texted him to come get them. He said, quote, what the hell, that's fine, I'll come by later and pick them up, end quote. I went out with a few girlfriends, we got day drunk, and had some amazing food, and it made me feel better, but when I got home and his things were gone, I was heartbroken. I never texted him, he never texted me. I got absolutely no closure, and even though people say closure is bullshit, I've had the hardest time moving on. It's been 3 months and I still cry in the shower sometimes. Even though I broke up with him, I still feel so confused and heartbroken. I never figured out why he did what he did and likely never will, and I miss his help and companionship. I'd love to come here and say I finished my book, but I haven't written much since. I can't get into the characters' heads anymore. There's a feeling of loneliness and grief in this that sort of helped me create a better outline. But I can't write about my characters. The other day I went to the bookstore to study. I ended up looking at books related to time travel and found one that has thousands of positive reviews. My novel is science fiction, and I've been trying to think of how to incorporate time travel, so it's kind of lined up perfectly. Turns out that a lot of my ideas mirror theoretical physics. It's eerie. I've never taken physics or read about it. Suddenly, string theory makes sense. Cosmology makes sense. I'm blown away, and it makes me feel so weird that so much of the plot has been studied in such depth. The book has lit a fire under me. Reading more about everything makes me feel so excited, and it's really helped me to flesh out my plot. I can't put it down. I read 20 pages or so a night. I haven't actually made time to sit and read a book in years. I always have a notebook with me now, so I write my ideas down. I haven't written about my characters yet, but my passion is coming back. The plot is making more sense. Now, I don't care much about how we broke up. I'm not confused. I sometimes get sad at night or during the day, or if I go out and make prolonged eye contact with a guy. I haven't thought about dating. I'm still too hurt to pursue it, but every day I move on a little bit more. Wanted to thank everyone who gave me advice. Forgot about my post until now, and when I went back through to read it, it made me realize how seriously messed up it was, and that gave me some closure. Thank you.
I mean, I feel like as much I get where she's coming from of like, even though she ended it, she would like to have some closure of like understanding where any thought was coming from.
Right.
But like, obviously he was done or doesn't care enough to fight for it if that was that. You know what I mean? Like, I guess there's your answer, which stinks, but ugh.
Icky. Well, I feel like obviously we all know it ended because we haven't talked in 3 months, but that's also hard.
Right.
The fact of like, there was never like a we are done.
Mm-hmm.
It was a I'm pissed, come get your shit right now. And okie dokie on my way, and that's where things
That's
ended.
ended. That's how
It feels murky. It feels
Mhm.
icky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can't imagine moving on in that regard. Like,
Yeah.
it does not feel like there was finality. It doesn't feel
No.
like I've never heard
When I
someone
feel
say
like
closure
for-
is bullshit, but
For future, well, I feel like I can understand of like, I don't know if there's ever like this perfect closure. Like, there's always unanswered questions. There's always things you think about that you wish you would have said later on. Like, there's always like ifs and buts about certain things that like you're never going to have a perfect resolution. But I would want more than what she got.
I would want more finality. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I mean more by closure. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily like I need things to get wrapped up in a perfect bow because that's just not how life works.
Mhm.
But I would hate the fact that it felt like it all went to hell in a handbasket in the span of a day.
Right. And like to then move on into a different relationship after that is rough.
Yeah. And like, again, this all stemmed from Henry Gracie, her work. And so I can't imagine them being like, well, back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would suck.
Yeah.
Oof. For the fact that she's like, I'm reading a book on science. Good for you.
Nerd.
Kind of a nerd. I know. She kind of went off the deep end there for a little bit. And I was like, I don't know.
We've really gone off the rails here, but good for you.
You had me. You lost me. You had me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think good for you for being able to be like, I'm working on it. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Also, totally been there of like, you get out of a relationship, and then it's like, they prolonged eye contact with a man, and you're like, yeah,
This feels weird.
no.
Yeah.
You get there eventually. You're like,
It's okay, I'm gonna look into your eyes.
and then I'll panic. Don't worry.
Yes.
Oh, amazing. All right. Ready for my next story?
Yep.
Coworker asked me to be her man of honor. I said no, and she went nuts. What did I miss?
That she's crazy. She was probably crazy beforehand.
This happened yesterday, and I'm still confused. This was posted October 29th.
Oh, this is recent.
Recent.
Okay. Like weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yesterday was my first day back to work after being off for 2 weeks. This is kind of important. One of my coworkers had gotten engaged the week before I left. When she announced it around work, we all did the congratulations and happy for her type things. I thought it was over. So when I left for vacation, the last I knew, no plans were made yet. Then yesterday, when I went back to work, my boss Kim and best friend Laura said that coworker Claire was looking for me. I asked what was up, and they weren't sure, but she was carrying a little gift bag. A few minutes later, Claire found me and asked how my vacation was. I was telling her about it, and she cut me off and said she had a very important question to ask. She handed a little gift bag and asked if I would be her best man of honor for her wedding. I thanked her and told her that typically this would traditionally go to a close female relationship. She responded that there was nothing traditional about her wedding, so it was good. I looked over at Laura and Kim, who were both trying to keep from laughing.
Ooh.
I again thanked her, congratulated her, and told her that I wasn't interested in being part of her wedding party and that I would be happier being a guest in the audience. I swear when I said this, it was when we watched her entire demeanor change and flip the switch. She went on saying that I have to be in her wedding and that she doesn't understand why I would say no. I told her that we only knew each other for a short time and that I had no interest in trying to plan parties, dinners, and shopping trips. She told me I needed to think about it and she would get back to me later. I told her to go for it, but my answer will stay the same.
Ooh.
She walked away and I looked at Kim and Laura and asked what the ever loving fresh creepy hell was that. Kim started to laugh and said she didn't know, but saying no like I did might have saved me a lot of headaches in the future.
Right.
Laura made the comment that she went straight to Bridezilla and this was a look into what she was going to be like. Claire came back today, however. She went with a different approach and handed me a list of what she wants me to do and her vision of how she sees things. I asked her why she gave me this, and she said that as her man of honor, these are her responsibilities.
God.
I told her again that I was not going to do any of this. She started again that she needs me to do this, and quote, how much fun it was going to be, end quote. She then asked, quote, haven't you ever wanted to be part of something special?
God. Oh no.
I told her I was a nurse. Enter Kim, who could sense that I needed help and told Claire one of her patients needed her help. I told Kim that if this keeps up, I might need her help. She said that she was already watching it and would intervene if I needed it. What did I miss? We aren't that close. She just transferred down to my unit from a different unit 6 months ago. I had no idea who she was until that point. Laura is saying that she is close in age to me and she might feel that that is enough of a connection. Did I miss something? When we are asked, are we supposed to automatically gush and jump up and down in excitement? Why is saying no such a bad thing? So that's the post.
Okay.
But there's more to it. But.
Okay. Well, I'll just say, as much as it could hurt the bride's feelings, you're saving feelings later by setting the boundary early.
Mm-hmm.
However, yikes, she sounds crazy.
I like a lot of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to roll up and be like, we've been coworkers for 6 months.
Will you be my?
Will you be?
Not only like in my wedding, but you are like
you are the planner.
Yeah.
You are the driving force. You are the person who is
So
supposed
like,
to be.
who else are your bridesmaids then?
You don't have like a sister or a friend or
anybody.
Their mom.
Right. That's crazy.
And then to be told no, and turn around the next day and be like, here's your responsibilities.
Like not respecting the boundary at all.
I heard what you said. No, I didn't. I don't really care. Isn't that nuts?
That is crazy.
And so I will save you some of the comments, but a lot of them were like, why is your boss and not helping?
Yeah, that boundary needs to be set clearly.
And Oki basically was like, I have asked her to let me handle it until I can't.
Sure, which I get.
And then someone else was like, is this a weird way of flirting? And he said, it won't work with me. I like dick. I also have a boyfriend, so he's a gay man.
Okay.
So a lot of it, yeah, centered around the fact of like, what the fuck? And then one person said, okay, this is going to sound weird, but since she's advertising that it's a non-traditional wedding, is it possible she's after you for a specific reason? Are you gay or part of a racial minority? Is it possible she wants her wedding to look super diverse for Instagram reasons? And she might be after you for a specific vibe in the pictures. OP responds, I don't know her background, and yes, I'm gay, and the entire department knows it because I was dating a former nurse and we broke up. Now I'm dating someone from a different department, and it's all known. All she said was it was less than traditional wedding and it would be okay. Yesterday, Kim and Laura asked if I was afraid of something about it. Maybe if I had to wear a dress. I said absolutely rock the dress.
That's not the issue.
I might need a push up to fill out the front of the dress if it's strapless, but I don't want anything to do with it. I have just no interest. My life is crazy right now, and planning a wedding would go from crazy to insane.
Yeah.
Alright, so OP updates the next day.
Okay.
First, I apologize. I never thought it was going to go as crazy as it did. I want you all to know I read all of your responses and responded to as many as I was able to. Thank you all for your amazing insights and comments, many that made me laugh, which I needed. I've been sick and that really helped to cheer me up. I had to meet with my lawyer today regarding family issues. There's an editor's note here. There's issues if you want to go to this person's profile and read about them,
Okay.
but they weren't included in that,
Okay.
so we're not including them. My neighbor slash best friend slash coworker, Laura, took me. I really felt awful and driving wasn't a good idea. We were talking about this on the way, and we both were asking a lot of the same questions that you all were asking. The big one was that we were asking about the circumstances of her transfer. She went from med-surg 4W to ER. So big
jump.
change.
Yeah.
That's a huge change. I have to work tomorrow, so we'll see what happens, but Laura and I are going to ask him about the transfer and raise a couple of other concerns. After I got home from the meeting with my lawyer, I slept for the rest of the day. Many of you asked if Claire and I hang out outside of work. The answer is no. I really don't know anything about her. I've helped her a few times with patients and different things, but our relationship is 100% purely work-related. That was why I was so surprised that she asked me to do this. That is why I was so, ooh, and that's why I was even more surprised about being asked to be the man of honor. I have a very small friend base, and honestly, I'd like to keep it that way. I really have no interest in being part of this. I'm not a wedding person, and after reading so many Bridezilla stories and hearing about the over-the-top weddings, they have become a huge turnoff to me, spending tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars with insane, unrealistic demands that would turn people against each other. Many people said I was being used as a token or a prop in a wedding, maybe as a gay best friend. I really never thought about it. I admit that I'm out and proud, but I'm not going to pretend to be someone's friend so that they can fulfill some kind of fetish they have for wanting to have a gay best friend or some kind of status she feels she needs to fulfill. It takes a lot for me to get offended, but if that were actually the case, I would be rather offended. I was not put on this face of earth to be someone's play toy. A lot of people said that she maybe doesn't even have a boyfriend. She does. She's brought him in before. If she has an insecurity, I don't understand it. She's an attractive, smart, and knows her stuff. So I'm at a loss as why she's doing this. A lot of people will also say go to HR. I'm starting that process with my boss, Kim. She's completely aware of the situation being with us when it happened. She has told me that she is watching the situation and will jump in if I need her to. I trust her completely. While Kim and HR can control the situation from the hospital, they can't control the situation from a personal level. So if she were to follow me home or something like that. Last update. Well, that was an update.
Okay.
That was the next day. And then 3 days from that post, so 4 days from the original,
Okay.
they post again, November 2nd.
Ooh, a few weeks ago.
I know. It's
So close.
This intro is going to be long, but I'm telling you about this for a reason. And later in this update, it will make sense. I'm hoping this will be done, and this will be the last whole situation. I was born into a family where I was referred to as, quote, an issue that needed to be dealt with, end quote. I lived in the shadows of my sister, who was the child my parents wanted. They wanted one child, which was a girl. That way, dad had his daddy's girl, and mom had mommy's little princess. Then I came along. Keep in mind that I'm 23, so back then my parents had options, but chose not to use any of those options. So instead, my parents raised my sister, and I was raised by a nanny, who even to this day is one of the biggest influences in my life, and I'm so grateful for her. She helped me with so much. I finally realized that all these years later, that being referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with, that they stripped me of my humanity and individuality and self-worth as a person. I think that's why I've worked so hard to establish myself in my career and in my life, as a way to become a better person again and not be the issue that needed to be dealt with. That's it.
Okay.
This past Thursday, things came to a head with Bridezilla, known as Claire, and the truth came out. My best friend Laura has been sticking close to me when we work together if Claire wants to start something. We weren't sure if she was going to leave it alone or start up again. I was really hoping that it was done, but she had to try once again. I've been sick and I had a busy morning, so I really just wanted a few minutes to go to the bathroom, grab a quick snack, and I don't know, maybe breathe. Claire came up and had her list and asked if I had a few minutes to talk about the wedding planning.
No.
I looked at her and told her again, no, that I was not interested in being part of her wedding, and I was not going to help in any way, and she needed to drop the subject and leave me alone. Again, she went into the whole thing of how I was going to do this and how much fun it was going to be. Here we go with the line all of you loved the first time. Why in the ever-loving, fresh, creepy hell is it so important for me to be your man of honor? I'm not interested and I'm not doing it. End quote. That's what he said to her.
Okay.
It is exactly as pretty much all of you told me that it would be. She was just planning on using me as a token or a play toy.
Oof.
She took all of the fucked up gay stereotypes that were out in society and put them into one sentence. Quote, what modern liberal woman isn't going to have a gay bestie on her arm for special events? End quote.
Yuck. That's awful.
Yeah. I felt everything in my stomach move and a wave of nausea come over me, and I felt like I couldn't get to the bathroom fast enough. This pissed Laura off to no end. Laura is really kind of like the overprotective sister that I wish I would have had, and took Claire off to visit our boss Kim and laid it all out. Everything that was said while I was out on that conversation, Laura and Kim filled me in on what was said. Kim came to check on me and I was still hiding in the bathroom. She knocked on the door and asked if she could come in. I asked her for a bottle of water first. While I was waiting, I realized two things. I realized why I chose not to hang out with her and why I didn't like her. I couldn't figure out why I didn't like her, just that there was something about her that gave me the heebie-jeebies, which, seeing that written out for fun is insane. A lot of ease. But I realized that I didn't like her because she's a different person than my sister. While Claire is educated and employed and she doesn't care about other people and their feelings, she's like my sister in the sense that if she wants something bad enough, she will figure out how to get it. The second thing I realized is that she did exactly what my parents did to me. She completely dehumanized me and reduced me to an entity. Just kind of turned me into a token or a thing for her. I think the word that best describes it is a must. I'm just a playjoy with a must.
Oh,
that does happen. I get you. What really gets me is that just like my sister, Claire doesn't think she did anything wrong, and I'm being too sensitive and a delicate snowflake. The next day, an emergency meeting was held at work, and Claire is being suspended pending investigation, and a new transfer is being looked into. Kim made the request for her to be terminated. The director of emergency nursing said this was a last resort, but she is going to be looking into options, which could be sending her to a new hospital or facility. This didn't go over well with me. I asked what would happen if she did the exact same thing to someone different. She didn't really give me an answer. But she said she needs to look into a few things, and at this point, she is suspended. Anyways, here it is. I'm still pretty sick and had to work this weekend. If I can respond, I will. I want to thank everyone for the amazing support. Have a good night.
Well, at least it seemed like it came to a pretty nice resolution for them.
Isn't that nuts, though?
That's crazy. To lose your job over that is crazy. Like, I mean, she's crazy. Like, she deserved to lose her job in that position, but to like get to that point is insane.
Well, to have that come out of your mouth, what modern liberal woman doesn't want a gay person on her arm
is insane. Yeah. So, anywho, I feel like that's a crazy one to wrap up on.
Isn't that nuts?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, next week I've already been looking into some crazy holiday stories to get us ready to go for Thanksgiving. But if you have any other suggestions of things you'd like us to talk about, definitely send us a message on our socials at I don't think so _EH, or
check out our YouTube channel at IDTS Conspiracies. But we will see you guys all next week.
Bye.